locked eyes for a split second and we knew one of us was going to die, and it wasn't me. I don't really regret them, nor do I relish them. You do things that normal people, that civilians couldn't comprehend. You live by the sword, then you have to die by it as well. And a moment's notice, I'm ready to go again. I'm just ready to fight. I always have that part in me just ready to go. I was a soldier. I served in the infantry company in the British Army's 16 Air Assault Brigade that served for a period in Afghanistan. Being a soldier involves many things. It involves a lot of sleep loss, going hungry, sleeping on wet ground, hard ground, rocky ground, and on occasion in old musty barracks on a stained mattress. You learn to overcome all of your fears, all of your concerns, in order to prove yourself not only to your superiors, but to your own self as well. You do things that normal people, that civilians couldn't comprehend or understand. You do things they wouldn't even consider doing every single day you wear that military uniform. You learn techniques like set broken bones, patch gunshot wounds, and in emergencies, do minor surgeries. You learn to shoot with the best of them. You learn to fight with the best of them. Most of all, you'll forever have that experience for the rest of your life. Your own experiences and memories that no one can take away from you, just of what you went through and had to endure and what you done as a soldier. When you're fighting as a soldier, it's different depending on the kind of fight that you're fighting. For example, in a bayonet fight, the most anxious part is just before you're entering the enemy compound. We still used to do bayonet training in the British infantry, and any time we approached them, we usually already had our bayonets fitted. Your body goes through the same motions, almost completely on muscle memory. You just know what to do because it's been drilled into you 1,000 times over. When I was getting ready to actually fire, all I could remember is thinking, I have to get him as fast as I can, over and over in my head. In terms of the actual combat, it was all pretty fast and sudden. It just happens. It starts and it ends very quickly. There was one time I remember when me and the target locked eyes for a split second and we knew one of us was going to die. And it wasn't me. The first one is definitely the hardest, but it was surprisingly not difficult at all. I think it was all the training that made it so instinctive. It just worked with muscle memory. Psychologically, it is a bit weird that you finally done what you're meant to do. I had finally done it. The things that soldiers are trained to do, my task was completed. But overall, it didn't bother me in the slightest because I knew it was either me or them. The first one I remember, the adrenaline was just pounding through my veins and just thinking, man, I just done that. I remember I kept turning around and just looking at the body, and then the platoon commander told me to just get on with it. And I had to just continue on with my work. Overall, I don't really regret them, nor do I relish them. It's just kind of neutral, if that makes sense. I don't feel either positive or negative about what I've done. I have no regrets. There were people who knew exactly what they were doing, just like I did. We both knew what was going to happen and the consequences of our actions. At the end of the day, it was either me or them. And the way I see it is, you live by the sword, then you have to die by it as well. When you're in combat, there's nothing like it. It's an experience like no other. Seeing all the horrible places in the world and experiencing all these different kind of things, it really just makes you appreciate life. It's the ultimate adrenaline rush. There's nothing that even compares to it. The training that you put so much effort into works so well that you respond exactly how you need to respond when you need to respond. It may sound odd, but when you're in combat, me personally, I didn't find it scary at all. After the problems, after the combat, that when you're sitting there replaying things or you're lying down in your bed replaying the events of the day, that you realize how close you were to not being there, how dangerous of a situation that you were in. And then the reality of the situation really weighs down on you, and you realize how scary the life that you're living is. So it's just those ones where you only realize afterwards, but in the moment you just focus on your survival, and it's just a completely heightened experience. But everyone's different. For me personally, that's how I experienced it, both during combat and outside of combat. But people may say otherwise. War is an entirely different universe. There's nothing like it, and nothing compares to it. You spend so much time in preparation of war and in preparation of the fight that you go through so many routines, so many rules, so many drills to really make sure that you can handle anything. It gives you a sense of adaptability, from surviving in a lone sniper operation to a complex ambush with enemy fighters and on-the-road IEDs. It's a plethora of things, from enemy squads to all kinds of shenanigans and tricks. But when you actually have to use the things that you've practiced, there's a certain sense of fulfilling nature that you've actually put in the work, and that you reap the rewards, and that reward being your survival. When you actually use the things that you practice on, it becomes so well that it's just second nature. But there's also a certain psychological aspect to the way war goes. When you're fighting and you're dealing with enemy targets, you're not thinking about the person that you're fighting. You're seeing them as a thing. You're not thinking that the person you're shooting or fighting may have a family, may have to support someone, or they're firing to earn some money. For you, it boils down to a simple equation. The choice whether I'm going to die today or whether I'm going to survive. For me, when I'm actually in the moment, it's not thinking about survival, if I'm going to live or if I'm going to survive. It's just the base instinct. I have to shoot back. I have to fight back. But once you're there in the army, once you're there in the war, they have everything you need to do. There's always procedure. There's always a certain schedule. But when you're there, they never train you on how to handle your downtime. When you're there and you had downtime, you were always prepared for something. You were hyper vigilant. You have to be ready at all times. For even now, it's been years since I've come back and integrated into a civilian lifestyle, but on a moment's notice, I'm ready to go again. I'm just ready to fight in a single second. I always have that part in me just ready to go, which makes relaxing so much harder than just a normal average civilian. They don't teach you about how to readjust. They can teach you how a lot of things in a combat environment, but they don't teach you how it is when you come home.